Hello, today we'll be discussing target behaviors. This step comes after developing the ultimate outcome and any intermediate outcome goals that we have in our treatment plan. This is an example of our treatment plan. If you notice, the highlighted sections are where the target behaviors belong. If you notice, we have behaviors targeted for reduction, and this is typically why we are getting referrals for cases. Many times we are getting referred by the supports coordination unit due to a maladaptive behavior or a behavior of concern that the person is exhibiting. And a great treatment approach is to identify these target behaviors and then come up with behaviors for acquisition or skill acquisition that we use in order to replace or make the target behavior useless. So this is what it would look like in our treatment plan, where the above definition is a physical aggression. And this behavior, of course, has a behavioral definition that we'll look at in this training. And then also below it, we have a behavior targeted for strengthening or skill acquisition, and we are looking for this person to be able to ask for a break, or in this case, taking a break. So let's talk about target behaviors. So what is a behavior? We talk so much about behaviors, and we need to make sure that we understand exactly what a behavior is. A behavior must be observable and measurable, and it's an action by an organism. So, companies can't have behaviors. Inanimate objects cannot have behaviors. And it has to be observable and measurable, that we can observe this behavior and then we could also measure it. That is going to be how we determine how successful our are, to see if we are making noticeable changes in our behavioral support plan and with the VIP we're working with. Other considerations about behavior, like I said, it must be biological in nature, naturally occurring. So any organism, any living organisms have behaviors. It involves movement, and it involves interaction with the environment. And when we have a target behavior listed, it is important that we define it. We need to define it in terms that anyone can easily identify the behavior. I often teach that if we pulled someone off from the street to start working with our VIP, and they would be able to easily record upon the behavior if it happened or didn't happen with 100% accuracy. So we need clear and concise language. We need to detail exactly what the behavior looks like, and also what the behavior doesn't look like. It needs to be objective. No assumption, judgment, or feeling needs to be involved with this. Sometimes I see terms like lazy or depressed written in definitions, and they're very subjective terms that may look different depending on who is looking at them. So we need to write this in a way that is very objective, that everyone that reads your plan can report upon the data with 100% accuracy, and no subjective thoughts go into it. Some other things you might hear in the field is people mentioning response in place of a behavior. And when we say response, we just mean a single instance of behavior. And a good way, especially when you're first starting out, to kind of ask yourself, is this an appropriate target behavior and definition? Is what we call the dead man's test. If a dead person can do it, it is not a behavior. So, we need some kind of action, some kind of movement and interaction with the environment. And if you think about it, that makes so much sense, because those are the behaviors that we could then reinforce. Those actions, those behaviors and interactions with the environment are behaviors that we can lead to reinforcement. And that is how we do our teaching, essentially. So why behavior should be targeted? So this could be help you kind of identify why we should target behaviors, um, and 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 some of the reasons why we would target behaviors. One of them, I might target a behavior for weakening. This behavior might occur, and these first two are dedicated for maladaptive behaviors, for behaviors that are causing a hindrance to this person, and And the first example here is weakening, and it's a maladaptive behavior, like I said. And this behavior might occur in overabundance. So it might not necessarily be a bad behavior or a behavior that we need to stop completely, but it's a behavior that's occurring too often. For instance, asking to use the bathroom. Maybe we teach a kid to be able to request using the to request that he needs to use the bathroom to a teacher. And now he's asking every 30 seconds to use the bathroom. Well, we don't want to stifle that behavior and say, hey, like, we're not going to allow this person to use the bathroom anymore or ask to use the bathroom, but we just want to lessen the occurrence of it happening. Um, Another example of why we should target a maladaptive behavior is to replace it. And these are the behaviors that are inappropriate or harmful, self-injury, verbal, physical aggression, property destruction. These behaviors are not okay at any time, and would hinder this person's access to the environment, access to certain reinforcers, due to their social implications, and also the harmful nature of these behaviors. So these behaviors specifically would be targeted for replacement, that we're going to teach them a new skill that would compete with this inappropriate response, and because we do not want them to be occurring anymore. The next few behaviors are going to be for skill acquisition, or behaviors that we would like to see more often. And when we talk about behaviors targeted for strengthening, um, we would think about the individual has the skill to perform this behavior, but it needs to occur more often. We want this behavior to occur more often. So we're going to target this behavior for strengthening. And when we kind of categorize it this way, our interventions kind of follow suit, and then they make a lot more sense. For instance, the next reason why we could target behavior is to develop a new behavior. And this is for an individual that maybe doesn't know how to complete the behavior at all. So comparing it to strengthening, at least the person knows how to complete the skill. We just need to see it more often. And developing, this person doesn't know how to use the skill at all. So depending on why we're targeting, these certain skill acquisition behaviors will help us dictate what interventions we need to have in place to help them. So strengthening is for behaviors that the person can perform already, has the skills to perform, is just not performing them as often as we would like. And we would target behaviors for developing for someone that doesn't know how to do the behavior at all. An example of developing, maybe the person doesn't know how to wash their hands. Maybe they don't know how to use a credit card machine in the grocery store, and we want to teach them how to use a credit card machine, how to use money, and they have no experience with this in the past, so we have to kind of tailor fit our approaches to teach them from the very beginning, rather than strengthening, that we are just looking to kind of dial in the behavior, increase it in frequency, or in duration, for instance, but the person already has the skills to kind of accomplish this. Some other reasons why behaviors should be targeted are for generalization. And generalization are behaviors occurring in one location that need to happen in all locations, or with one person that we want to occur with many people. And all of our target behaviors for strengthening should have a generalization component, that we're always looking to generalize this skill the best we can in the natural environment. If we're teaching someone to do homework with the teacher, for instance, or to do some desk work with the teacher, we would love for that skill to generalize to their home. So maybe their parents now can do the same task with them, and they're able to complete it. Or hand washing with our previous example, they're able to do it for the behavior support worker. We might bring in a different staff, or someone else, practice at different sinks, practice at bathrooms in the community, different bathrooms in the house. And through these generalization processes, the person is more likely to be able to complete these tasks in all these different environments with different people as well. And that's kind of a great example of generalization. And we should think about targeting all our skill acquisition behaviors and have some kind of generalization strategies built into help with this process. Stimulus control is kind of the opposite of generalization. Maybe we teach someone to to use the bathroom, for instance, and now they are using the bathroom kind of in the sink or going to the bathroom in the tub because they kind of resemble the toilet. So the behavior kind of what we call it overgeneralizes, and we need to narrow it down. We need to do some stimulus control and teach them that hey, the toilet is where you use the bathroom, and even though the sink and the bathtub resemble a toilet in some ways, that is not an appropriate place to use the bathroom. And finally, we will target behaviors for maintenance. And maintenance is kind of, after we worked on our treatment plan, the individual met their mastery criteria, and after a little bit, the problem behaviors return. So we might bring back that target behavior back into the treatment plan and target it for maintenance, that we are going to go back and kind of revisit the interventions and work on this behavior again. So that's why we target behaviors. Um, this is going to get more into defining target behaviors. A functional definition and a topographical definition are the two ways that we could define target behaviors, and which we'll be talking about in our next video. Thank you.